Respected Justice Gupta, my esteemed colleague Justice Chandrasekhar, Ms. Luthra, Mr. Sen, distinguished members of the faculty, both from India and Australia, and students who are here from Australia and India to participate in this conference. May I start by saying how grateful I am to the organizers for inviting me to be with you this evening. It's a great honor and a privilege to see the fantastic campus and the facilities here in your law school. And I'm most heartened by the fact that a conference of this nature is organized every year here in Amity, where these constitutional conversations are taken ahead between the people of two different countries, law students. In a shrinking world, the idea of comparative constitutional law will gain greater importance and greater depth, and to engage with it from your time in law school, I think is both very wise and very, very creditable. I know that for some of you who may be foreseeing a career in merger and acquisitions or corporate finance, it seems like something that is somewhat divorced from your future. But I would only like to say that as engaged and intelligent citizens of your countries, constitutionalism is here to stay. And for you to be able to engage with the ideas and ideals of your constitution, the knowledge and the interaction with other constitutions of the world, I think will have a greater importance and a much greater relevance than perhaps any of us realize today. For India and Australia in particular, the common law tradition, the history that we share as one-time colonies is really part of our common wealth. And for us to interact with each other, to engage with each other, both at an intellectual level and really in a way of understanding each other's cultures and each other's societies, I think would go a long way. As Prashanto has already warned us that we should not speak too much on the subject lest our ignorance be exposed, I will also take discretion as the better part of valor and only touch upon a couple of the most obvious similarities, such as the parliamentary democracy that Ms. Geeta Luthra mentioned just now, such as the great federal traditions that both our constitutions have embodied, and to also there highlight the great dissimilarities in our constitutional systems, despite some of these similarities, perhaps including, as the most obvious one, the great rigidity of the Australian constitution as opposed to the extreme flexibility of the Indian constitution in terms of the amending powers. And to say that when you come across similarities and dissimilarities that coexist like this, it is worthwhile to think not just about the text of the two constitutions, but the context in which they were made, and what and the sort of subtext that context has imparted into it. When you come from a long tradition of from a long freedom struggle like we did in India, which Australia was fortunate enough to miss, you bring with yourself a much more, perhaps a much stronger idea of the fact that changing times will require different kinds of constitutional mechanisms to deal with. The fact that we have emergency powers of the nature that we do, does that reflect the great diversity of culture, of language, and of really an experiment that is perhaps unparalleled anywhere in the world in terms of knitting together a country of such diversity into a common constitutional culture? So these are the issues which I am sure you have been pondering over for the last couple of days and will continue to do. I urge you, when you think of the Constitution and the similarities and comparative constitutional law, to also devote some attention to the limitations of those principles, to the understanding of where constitutional comparisons are limited by your own culture and your own history. And that would make, to my mind, a rich and extremely rewarding conversation and dialogue. So many congratulations to the speakers who have participated, to the organizers of this great conference, and thank you once again. I wish you all good luck and Godspeed.